Oompa, Oompa, Oompity, eh. Frank's got a friend, her name is Kirsty. Hey! Happy New Year,
Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year.
First episode of Let Me Be Frank of 2025, and
We've got a cracker.
we've got an absolute belter.
Cracker.
Kirsty Paterson, better known as the Scottish Oompa Loompa. Is that fair? Is that how you...
Yeah, Scottish Oompa Loompa.
That's very good.
Yeah. Wow.
Can I take this off now because this is?
Oh, hang on a minute.
Oh.
You're looking quite nice. Were you wearing that for your Christmas parties and all that,
I
Frank?
did, and I had it on since then.
Right, well, we'll probably keep the
Thank you.
We're going to
Thanks
keep
for
the
the
camera off, Frank, for a minute or two while he sorts his barnet. I know you're very particular about your hair.
I need my
That's
competition to be.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
So, if anyone's been living in a cave,
Yeah.
you won't know who Kirsty Paterson is, but Kirsty, you rose to prominence and became a bit of a household face, household name, approaching a year ago.
Yeah,
with
nearly a year ago, wasn't it?
the ill-fated Willy Wonka Experience in Glasgow, which went absolutely crazy online and viral. How's the last year or so been for you?
It's been a complete whirlwind. I never thought when I thought I was going to pick up this job for a bit of fun or to just be creative again, that this would have completely, the year I've had. Like, I've been in America most of the year. I've been the face of the Fringe, and I've done a lot of TV stuff. Like, I was just on the last leg there for the New Year special as well. So just really insane as an actress and a performer to have done all that is amazing.
Crazy.
From this.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But this is the first British podcast you've done, so.
It's the first British one,
Yes,
so I did.
Thank you very much.
No,
Thank you
it's,
for that.
no, would I do it for anyone else?
Of course.
Would I do
of
it for
course.
anyone else? But yeah, so it's good because we're going to have a bit of
Yeah.
Glaswegian banter,
Yes.
you know.
You
so
must
that's
have
what
missed that, did you, in America?
I did a lot.
Because they
I
don't
did
get
a
a
lot.
lot of stuff, do they?
I like to say LA humour's very opposite to Glaswegians. Like, we're very brutal up front. You know, you see what you see is what you get. A lot of LA, it's like nothing wrong, like my partner's from LA, but it's just they can be quite not as real.
Not
And
as hard- not as
I've
harsh.
offended a lot of
Not-
people in
not as
America,
harsh.
and I have not meant to.
So is that a partner since that you've met since the whole thing?
I met him in America.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
So, like, it's been a life-changing experience for you. The whole
Yes,
thing.
yeah, it has been.
I've got to ask, do you get recognised much when you're out and about? Maybe because if you're not wearing the wig, people might not.
No, I
instantly-
do get recognised a lot.
Yeah.
I think because I've actually came out, I do a lot of media stuff and work as myself now. A lot of things I refuse to just stand there with the wig on. Makes me feel like I'm not showcasing what I can do. So it's important for me if I am doing something sometimes that I show an element of myself.
Yourself, of course. Aye.
Yeah.
Hence
You
the
don't
reason
really-
hence the reason why I wore a wig.
Aye, exactly, aye. I bet you've worn more than a wig over there.
I
anyway,
might end up going to America now.
You don't want
gosh.
to be typecast. So when we're like Ken Barlow or Coronation Street, everyone knows you as the Willy Wonka. So obviously you've got a career as well, and you want to kind of
Yeah,
leave this
so
behind at some
this
point.
has been extremely up and down work-wise for me. So I feel like I have had like a second wind because I was an actress when I was younger, and I was really, really trying to make it. But the amount of rejection I was getting, I was actually more a professional dancer.
Right.
So back in like 10 years ago, it was like, I'm quite wide set. So it's like, you're not skinny enough, blah, blah, blah. And I think at that point, I was like, I need to walk away from like this because it's too much. But the actual performing itself was something I always wanted to do. And then I did something completely different. I did marketing, I did a estate agency, which I really honestly hated.
Didn't have a heart for it.
I just hated it. It was rubbish. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on this. I hated it. And then I got
Rubbish isn't a swear word.
rubbish.
I can swear it anyway, it doesn't matter.
But I just felt very stressed in an office environment, and I was very down, and I was going to the doctors and they're like, oh, you're depressed and all that. And I was like, no, I'm feeling something that isn't right. I shouldn't be feeling like this for no reason. And then I got a later ADHD diagnosis, and I hate being that person that labels herself. But it is a big realisation I had in my later years. And from then, I was going for a breakup, moved back with mum and dad. I was like, if I'm going to be happy, I'm going to need a full-scale turn what I'm doing around. And that's when I took on that job for fun. And then look what's happened. It's really nuts.
It's probably worked out better for you being an absolute nightmare because of that? Because if it had worked, you might not have got the publicity you got. You know,
Not a chance.
Yeah, that's
that
a
make
fair
a lot-
question,
that
Frank.
make a lot of
I mean, I
sense?
was at, and actually, just as a kind of, additional question to that, I was going to ask, if you could turn back time, and you knew it was going to be the disaster that it was, would you still have done it?
This is a common question I get asked a lot, and I find it quite difficult to answer because the start of all this was extremely difficult for me, and I don't hide that in my documentary. I'm going to go really into the deep root of why this was so difficult for me. But also being put into an industry, yourself working in the media, if you have no idea about media and how it works, it can be very scary just getting put into this the way I did. Also, I didn't have social media at all before this. I had a personal Instagram account. So when things were blowing up on TikTok, and I actually had no idea what was going on.
I think I remember your first post when you pretty much said that. You said, I don't know what to do with all this. I've got all these followers. What do I do? I think it was something along those lines.
Yeah, so that first video was actually like me when I first turned on my phone after 4 days. And I actually just didn't know how to deal with it. So I would do it. Would I? Well, look where I'm at. Like I've done so well for myself.
Yeah.
And I've actually got the possibility of changing this into a career for myself. Because I've had people who've been great enough with my jobs, showing me what I can do as well. I've learned a lot.
Yeah. So
I've learned a lot.
The good thing about it is a lot of the career that you're in, it's all about contacts. And you have met so many contacts.
And I'm great with every single contacts I've made, and I'm great to work with.
It's the same as any business, isn't it? Contacts is everything, but especially yours, which is great. It's great for you.
Oh, yeah.
I wish you well with that. I really do.
Yeah. I think you're right there a lot with, because I actually studied business, and I'm actually an entrepreneur mind. So I'm very good with people, and I have to agree with you there. The contacts I've made have been insane. Yeah.
So we're right back at the start. So February 2024. So how was it sold to you? How did you get involved in it?
Right.
A bit of fun.
I just seen it as a bit of fun.
Yeah.
I've done like kids parties before. I'm a mixed bag. Like I've done roles where I've had to look good, and and I've done roles where I'm an old granny. So initially, like I was really trying to start up my fire performing. So I seen this advertisement online, and they were looking for circus performers, and I was like, you know what, I'll give it a bash. But then it's when they didn't audition me, I was like, this is a red flag in itself, But I was curious, and at the same time, I was going for a breakup. I was skint. I left my job. I moved back home. I needed the money, so I went for it. And then, when I say that, people ask me, when did you know that something wasn't right? It was from the initial point of contact, and it was actually the organiser's wife. It wasn't through a company or anything like that. I turned up, and it was just, there was something not right from the start.
I mean, when you looked at the setup initially, you must have thought, folk are paying money for this. Is that your reaction?
The night before I was there, you have the warehouse.
Yeah.
And the people who own the warehouse or Box Hub, they're quite a well-reputation company. A lot of my friends use their space for their gyms and all that. Also, it's such a big space, so you knew it was paid.
Yeah.
And then at the time, the night before, you seen the candy canes. In my head, I was like, there's a lot you can do throughout the night with lights and stuff. I've seen it before.
Yeah, just transformed.
I've seen
a switch.
But it was when the organiser was getting us to write the contracts, and it was erasable ink.
Oh, really?
Do you know how you get the ink and it's erasable? So I'm taking notes of everything, and the other people I was working with. There was just something wrong from the off.
Yeah.
And then when they handed me the script, I've never been handed a 26-day page script the night before. Like, no one can learn that.
No.
Like, maybe if you give me 3 days straight, if I'm learning it. But it was just, and it was all rubbish. Yeah. I actually watched the initial film that whole night because I was trying to understand who this unknown character was, and it was just not making any sense, the whole thing. And because I was so wrapped up in everything else that was happening, and it was so fast, I was back. So I left it at 10 o'clock at night. I was back in again at 8 in the morning. It's almost like I didn't have enough time to
take it in.
But I knew my gut was off from when I got that job
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was your role to be?
It was to be a Wonka Doodle.
Yeah.
So being a Wonka Doodle is kind of, for copyright, is the Oompa Loompa.
Right.
So that's basically being the Oompa Loompa.
Right. Interacting with families and children. And
yeah, interacting with families and kids, you know. So it was meant to be a pantomime kind of style performance.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to go in at the front of the Willy Wonka Experience and be really entertained from start to finish and have performances, you know, people trained and going through it all. And it was supposed to be 45 minutes long.
Fun.
It was not that. It was
Seen
not
a
like that
photo
at
of
all.
you giving sweets to one of the kids, and that's, I mean, that went a big way, you know, because you must have felt terrible for the kids.
I felt really bad.
You're consoling quite a lot of kids and parents. And
I felt really bad, but I felt awful. It was when, so know how I said I was in the next day at 8 a.m. Well, we got given the rubbish and Oompa Loompa outfits. And because it was in Glasgow, my first worry is, I've already signed the contract, I was worried I was going to see someone I knew, someone I'd went to school with, you know. It would have been embarrassing, you know, like, and I'm also someone who's not achieved a lot in life. So I was like, do I put myself through this or not? But what it was, so we got the outfits, but then from us getting the outfits, the queue was allowed in. We didn't even do one run through.
Oh, no way.
Oh,
No, we didn't even do one run through,
I
right?
knew that.
But I'm not gonna lie, I deliberately stuck myself onto the actors that were probably a wee bit better there. That sounds awful, but like me, this guy called Paul, and Jack, we all did the run through together. And I can say we actually did quite well for what we had the first way through it all, but that was only 5 minutes and it was done. So, and then, but
Another 40 minutes to fill.
But now that, like, also because I've done stuff before and I've learned a lot from, like, you know, producing my own show and everything like that, the timing doesn't make any sense for all the kids coming in. When I say there was a constant trail of people coming in, there was no way this was planned in a way that was timed to have a 45-minute window. So this was purely just
a constant stream.
Constant stream. Do you know what? This just shows how much people pay for their kids.
Yeah.
Because it was constant. But also, it's the lack of management of the amount of people coming in. It tells you the organiser was purely doing this just to make money. Because it was like a volume number.
Right.
Yeah.
How quick was it before you realised, hang on, this is going to go bad? You know, like before, you know, the police were called, weren't they?
Yeah, well, I knew from the start this wasn't going to work out. Because it was really bad.
The parents
Was it one of the parents that just went off head and probably been a mum?
Not just one, a lot did.
I know there's a lot of them, but it'd be one of the mums that just says, I'm not having this, and phoned the police.
It was at the end, and it was when, bear in mind, this shut down after an hour and a half.
Yeah.
People think it's the whole day. It was an hour and a half. It was when, at the end, I don't blame parents for kicking off, because it was £35 a ticket, and it was big families, it wasn't, and it was also, you could tell for a lot of people, it was maybe people maybe in foster care, it was like their day out. So stuff like that was when I was getting angry, because it was very clear and evident that this was a big deal for a lot of people. And I just kind of, because I was standing at the end, everyone all walked off, by the way. I was like the only one left standing. If that doesn't show I've got good work ethic, I don't know what doesn't. But it was when a parent kicked off at the end, it seemed to annihilate another parent. And actually, someone actually went into the bit that I was standing at and trashed it.
Oh, really?
There's a lot of, there's that. And then,
Can you imagine the parents saying, we're going tomorrow to the Willy Wonka Experience, and they'd put the film on. And the kids would have walked into this, what they think in their head, you know, it's going to be a great experience, and the only good bit about it is you.
See, the only thing I was going to ask as well
not going to lie, it was.
So for everybody who followed the story, the most iconic image is you standing there, the sad face, sad Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
Do you remember that picture being taken?
Yeah, I do. It was when...
And were you genuinely sad at that point?
I was Sorry, I can't swear.
No, you can't swear.
I was fucking fuming. I was done with life, honestly. Because, like I said, I've been going through like I had a good job before. I was earning all right money, and I was going through a breakup. I was really, really going through that kind of psychological thing where I was sitting there, and all due respect, like half the staff didn't even go on the...
I would imagine the owners disappeared fairly quickly.
No, he was out there.
Was he there?
He was
there.
He
front up? Did he front up, or did they let people know he was the main guy?
Yeah, like the parents were shouting at him. I think I don't want to go in too deep into that, but I just think at that point when I was standing behind the table, I was just really, really down, and I was feeling it, and I was just like, what am I doing with my life? And, you know, I've got so much potential. I think the hardest thing for me, like, frustrating point in my 20s, because I'm 30 now, I always knew I had so much potential, but I didn't know how to do it. So I think that was just a really, really signified point where I was standing there and I was like, this is really bad. Like, what's going on? What have I done? And also I was very aware of, like, people have took pictures of me at this. Like, am I ever going to work again? Am I ever going to act again? Am I ever going to get took if I ever went to go serious ever in my life? Like, not just there, but just in my whole life. And it was very much not a nice feeling.
So at that moment, what would have been really good is if Gene Wilder had just spun in and done a forward roll and the whole thing would have been transformed, and it was like, we're only kidding, it's great. Didn't quite happen like that.
I wish.
Yeah, fairy tales don't come true.
So, but look, I mean, it's worked out okay for you, and that, and that, you know, people, you know all about it, they know who you are, they know what you can do. And so afterwards, you tell us about America. How did all that pan out?
Oh, America was the best point ever.
I saw it Times Square and everywhere like that. And
so I think what turned it around for me, this was bearing in mind at the start, people thought I was attached to the event, and there's actually a process of being dehumanised through all this. So my phone was going crazy. Like, I had people I went on dates with from like 4 or 5 years ago messaging me like, are you okay? Like, my phone, everyone who knew me was messaging me basically from school or whatever. So I just turned my phone off, not because I didn't appreciate them reaching out to me, it was just too much. But there was a process of being completely dehumanised through all this, and all the comments that were initially coming out were really bad. It was about, I'm someone who's I'm quite vain. I take care of myself.
So's Frank's, you're good.
It's all right, me. That's fine.
I know.
But like, so I didn't take that picture well, and but what turned it around was when the parents obviously knew I treated their kids well, so they posted the nicer pictures of me, and that's how it turned completely around for myself.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Well, that's a strange one, but it's worked out better for you. And I mean, many shows did you go in America? Because you done.
Oh, America. I know, sorry, I go off topic a wee bit.
That's all right.
I know, it's, so America,
I'll
yes.
get back on it, it's all right.
I know, it's like sometimes I need someone to reel me back in.
Frank's good for just directing the traffic on this podcast.
Reel me back in. No, with America, so initially they recreated the event in LA, and I thought it was a joke at first. They were like, do you want to come out to LA and be a special guest at the LA event? I was like, is this a joke? Is this? But I was like, all right. So they're paying for my flights, my accommodation, and paying me quite well as well. Like, you know, I was like,
fantastic. Yeah.
I was just like, you know what? I've never been to America. I'll give it a go. And then from there, I was also negotiating. I've talked about my documentary at this point with American people. So I went out, and yeah, it was great. And then on top of that, like there's a show called 54 Below.
Right.
They're just off Broadway in New York. So they had me performing there. I performed in the biggest nightclub called the House of Yes in New York. I did a comedy show as well. And I was doing a documentary on the back of this as well. And that's when I met the LA musical theatre producer, Richard Kraft, who was doing the whole show
right,
musical based on this. So it's just been crazy. But then I went back out that's my first time.
Yeah.
And then I went back out again for 2 months.
Fantastic. And tell us about, so Finding Love, tell us about that.
Oh, love. It was kind of...
She never said that. She said she's got a boyfriend.
Oh, I see.
No.
Sorry, it's not going to America. Sorry.
No. It's actually quite funny how we met. It was kind of like I was feeling a wee bit. This is what I'm saying. I got chucked into this like really, really head on. I wasn't trusting the guy that was my agent and stuff at the time, and I knew a lot of this. I feel like a lot of this process is like I feel myself getting used as a cash cow for people. And like I said, I'm quite an emotionally intelligent person. So I was actually like in a bar and I felt like I was just kind of getting used a wee bit.
Right.
And then he was sitting at the bar and then we were just chatting. He didn't really know who I was. And then from there, we just kind of... I was there for the other 4 nights and I wasn't sleeping properly. We went on like a few dates and then I just kind of was going to leave it there. And so was he. And then when I went back out again, I don't know, it's a bit of a crazy whirlwind, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but fantastic though.
Yeah.
I've got to be honest with you. See, when you knew there to do the show out there, was it a reincarnation of over here? Was it any good, or was it the total disaster?
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
The show, the rehearsals were in America, right? And bearing in mind, I didn't have a say of how any of this went. I did kind of get blindsided by a lot of things, but I was just so shocked that this is actually going on about my life.
Yeah, we get swept away with a lot of things as well.
No, like I said, I've learned a lot throughout this. The show, I really wish they had my input in from the start because a lot of things were not right. And I could have told you from the start this wouldn't have worked in Edinburgh. But the show going ahead has got like the right things in place, you know, to make this a good show. A lot of time, what a lot of the big musicals, they'll test it out in an area for it to either go to London or Broadway. So it was more of a tester, but the show will be better done.
There's going to be another one. There's going to be another show, you mean?
Fingers crossed. Yeah, this is the thing, you don't know, because I'll be producing this one if it goes ahead, so it's a big deal for me.
Fantastic.
But like I said, the show got put together so fast.
Yeah.
So it wasn't going to be perfect, but just going ahead, if it does go ahead, it will be better done.
So you've been producing it, that means it could come back to Scotland?
It needs my input.
Yeah, of course.
Because
you could bring
a lot
back,
of it's quite Americanised, you know, but it was, he didn't have a lot of time to put it together, do you know what I mean? Because it had to go out at this Fringe. It couldn't go out next year's Fringe.
Yeah, of course.
So it was did the best of what we could at the time.
Did it get done all right?
I mean, it was fully full. Yeah. The media around it was insane.
Yeah.
So they did well.
Yeah, I mean, I meant to ask as well, the boyfriend, I hope when he asked you, you told him that he'd just won the golden ticket.
What, him? He didn't even know who I was.
No?
No, he didn't know, but...
I got that. His golden ticket.
No, he didn't know. He didn't.
The golden ticket, yeah, that's what he's trying to say.
He knows he's got the golden ticket.
Your face appeared on television, you were on national telly, the morning news and all that stuff. I mean, that must have been... You've been pinching yourself at points during all that.
I think I've been on the most... Can I just bear in mind, maybe you both can relate to this as well. See someone from Scotland to reach these big media channels. Like, you'd need a media company of like promoting you of a lot of money to get you to that exposure.
People sitting here know exactly what you're saying because it happened to me very quickly. And I didn't have nobody. Didn't have anybody. I know. I don't have anyone going for this as well, but it's quite scary. I know it is.
It is scary, especially when, like you said, a lot of the time the media don't give a shit about you. They just want a story. Yeah. So the amount of times that I've done something, and bear in mind, I'm a likeable character, and I feel weird saying it. It's such like a Gen Z thing, an icon, or whatever. But the amount of people that have tried to stood me up or over but I'm smart enough. But if I had I've stopped drinking when I do events and stuff now because there's been times where I'm like, thank God I'm sober at this event because I'm Glaswegian, I have a temper. I like, you know, it could have been caught out a few times.
What I was going on to say, there's probably people in America who haven't heard of Loch Ness Monster, you know,
Oh, no!
and haven't heard of Celtic and Rangers, but they've heard of you, you know, which is kind of bizarre, isn't it?
But this is why, right, when I went forward with this, the thing that was actually annoying me the most that didn't have enough Scottish, people actually didn't realise it was a Scottish story. And I know that I have went to America and, you know, I've chose, you know, but that's why I made it the Scottish Oompa Loompa, not the sad Oompa Loompa, because it is actually a Scottish story. And like, it's important for me that it does have that Scottish influence to it. But everyone's heard of the Loch Ness Monster.
I mean, everyone, it's the biggest media hype that's ever worked. 2 Scotsmen stood in the end of Loch Ness and says, what was that?
Biggest scam ever known in man. The point I was making is that it was so big around the world, right? And media outlets all over the planet.
I know, I made China.
Aye.
Wow.
People in China knew who I was.
Wow.
So you've got a lot of followers. You've got some followers that you're maybe happy about and some that you're not so happy about. Tell us about the foot fetishists.
Oh, I knew you were going to bring this up. Do you know what's always going to happen? I think there's such a difference in the way I look from the picture to actually who I am as a person. Some people have really, really liked it. It's the foot fetish thing. I think it's not just me that goes through this. Like, my cameos are like constant foot fetish requests. And I'm like, well, I can't do this on my cameo. But it's like, I don't even have nice looking feet. I've got like crow's feet. Honestly, I've got like my feet are particularly not attractive.
Do you like really need to send a picture of your own feet? Is anyone going to know?
I don't know if anyone, I don't know.
There's a scam.
I don't know.
But, before we get back on to that, you mentioned Cameo. Is Cameo the thing where you send like happy birthday messages and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I was top 3 in the world.
Yeah,
seriously?
Wow.
I've done really well at Cameo.
Brilliant.
But it was
I don't want to ask any personal questions, but did you make a lot of money out of that?
Yeah, I did. But like only the first month.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where it was too overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because I would be sitting, right, so I'd be sitting doing like a media thing right now, but then I would have 100 cameos to do. And I'd be sitting there and it has like a timer where you need to like sit and get these cameos done. And some of it, like, so if the demand's high, you charge more. So I was making like, at one point, £75 a cameo.
Right, okay.
And it was constant.
Yeah.
So going back to normal life a wee bit has been difficult after earning money like that.
You're brain enough to capitalise on what's happening going forward. I mean, talking about directing a programme and all that kind of stuff, that would never have happened if
not at all. No, like I said,
you've got to use it. I mean, you've got to just take it and run with it.
It was Kirsty Paterson. I don't know if you were aware of her. She was really obsessed with me. Right. She's got kids herself.
I know exactly who you mean, yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's sort of getting in touch with you and whatever? Or?
She's the one that requested me to get on Cameo.
Right, okay.
And she was searching for me, like, get her on Cameo. And, like, she's dressed up as me.
Right.
Like, she was obsessed with me.
Right. And
everyone was like, she's posting about you. So from that, her doing that, it wasn't just her promoting me. MME in America, New York Times were promoting my cameos. Everyone genuinely wanted me to do well on the back of this.
Yeah. Right.
So that's how I did so well that month.
Have you got someone looking after you now? Or
no. So this is...
Oh, you good guys.
There you go.
Yeah, we're vetting you, so don't think you can just come in. Yeah,
no, like, not yet, but what my issue is, I want to act and I really want to perform. Because I still do like my normal work outside doing this because I need consistent wage. Because I can be doing a TV appearance, right, and make good money maybe. Or like maybe, for instance, like the cat bit, it's not consistent. Just about what we were speaking earlier.
Yeah, of course.
So I've still had to maintain my other work while doing this. But my main goal is to break away from this as myself. And it is difficult to do, but I'm slowly doing it in drabs and drabs and drabs. Yeah. And like things like doing podcasts with yourself.
Will work because the more you do, you get away from it, don't you? And but use it. I mean, you've got to use what's happened because
I can't not. I'm never going to get an opportunity like this again.
Exactly. And then eventually it'll just be you.
It will be me.
It won't be long before it's just you, but you'll be established then as a director or an actress or whatever.
But I've been very smart the way I've done this. So, for instance, like the last leg, the New Year's, honestly, I can really, really praise the amount of TV, and I did a shoot with Beaches there in the USA. The amount of people that actually support me actually being myself is like really, really amazing. So when I did the Beaches shoot, they wanted me.
Is that for the
so it's
holidays,
like
or?
So they're it's like
and Beaches, is that?
I wish. So so it's like a social media platform.
All right, okay.
But it's very USA based. It's the same as Lab Bible. They're the same people. So I did a viral moment of the year shoot with them. So it's like I spoke about how I want to kind of be seen as myself. So they actually let me just have my real hair colour and have like the green in it. And it's stuff like that where I can showcase myself. And then I did the last leg there where I was behind the bar, but they've let me do my fire performing at the end as myself. So stuff like that. I do really appreciate it when they do it. Let me do stuff like that.
I mean, there's a lot of TV programs and things where you could. I mean, just because you're such a recognisable face, it would probably advantageous for a lot of shows to maybe get you involved. Like River City or something like that. Ever thought about doing that?
Of course, I think that's what I'm born to do.
Yeah.
It's just kind of I'm in the process now of actually doing voiceovers for Sleep Stories. I'm doing my acting reels.
Can I stop you? How do you do a voiceover for Sleep?
Sleep Stories.
So somebody's sleeping, how do you do a voiceover?
So it's Australian
That's what
company.
we do, Frank. We our podcast sends people to sleep. That's actually it's potentially quite lucrative.
Yeah.
So it's like, right, we all know, like, see Glaswegians.
Yeah.
I'm quite polite for a Glaswegian, but this is very much the voice I put on because people understand me. If I start speaking like myself after a few glasses of wine, no one will understand me.
I get that because I went to London and nobody understood me, so it was great.
You should try LA. No one understood me. People thought I was speaking Gaelic.
Australian. I get Australian a lot. You're Australian? No.
Irish is what I got a lot of the time.
Whereabouts are you from, without giving away too much?
I'm from Bearsden.
Bearsden, right?
Yeah.
That's what I say. There you go. Neighbours.
Neighbours, basically.
Neighbours, a good programme to go on.
Yeah.
Is it still going now?
What, Neighbours?
It's finished now, isn't it?
I don't actually know.
That's what Margaret Robbie was in.
We can down all sorts of rabbit holes in this one.
Do you know what? Margaret Robbie's like my inspiration. Like she is, because she did do a small role, and then also her looks have obviously helped her, but she's actually very talented in what she does.
Kylie was on that as well, wasn't she?
Minogue?
On Neighbours?
Neighbours. Was it Neighbours?
Aye, we're not
no,
breaking new
Neighbours.
ground.
What's the other one? The one in Australia, what was that?
Neighbours.
Was it Neighbours?
Kylie and Jason Donovan and
they were
Kylie
on
Minogue
that.
were on,
Yeah, they were
on
on
Neighbours. I'm starting to doubt
Well,
myself.
Neighbours, here I am. Get your new Scottish.
The Scottish, and not the Scottish Oompa Loompa, because you're going to leave all that behind.
It's always going to be me. It's always going to be me, though.
Well, you should, but what you've got at the end of February is you've got a month or two, and I mean, I imagine when the first anniversary comes up, being a media type myself, I know that you will be inundated with requests for interviews and that kind of thing for the first anniversary.
I thought this was going to end by now.
No, the first there's always a big wave of publicity for the first anniversary of anything. So you'll probably get a request for big newspaper interviews, and you'll probably pop up on TV again.
Nothing I'm not used to anymore now.
We get in there first interview with Kirsty of the new year.
That's great, and thank you very much for coming on.
But we're not finished yet because I believe you're not a big fan. But a wee soft spot for Celtic, I'm told. Is it your?
It's my dad's Celtic daft.
Yeah.
So my dad was initially like, "Don't mention the Celtic thing." I was actually about to buy an orange car there. My dad's like, "No, don't buy an orange car." But it's not. See, the colour thing, it's not that deep for me. No. Yeah. But like, my dad's like, "Don't buy an orange car." But no, my dad's a very...
And he'll have remembered Frank back in the 50s and 60s when he was playing for
Yes, he does.
Well, I remember.
Playboy.
I remember back in the day. I do get it, but it's a bit like, what I compare it to is the 45-minute show it was supposed to be was 5 minutes. A bit like going through the Rangers trophy room now.
No comment. I'm not allowed to comment on stuff like that.
That's a lot of followers left, isn't it?
No, it's not. They know we're joking. They're not joking. It's good fun.
But I don't know how much, if you followed the podcast up to now, but hopefully you'll become a big fan of Let Me Be Frank from now on.
Of course.
Yeah. Love that. Yeah, it'd be great. And come on, whenever if you go away and make it in one of the big series, you can come back on.
Of course.
100%.
Great.
Oh, I'm confident I'll get there.
Oh, you absolutely
I'm
will.
very confident you'll get there, yeah, because
Yeah.
you've got your head in the right place. So good.
Before we finish, I'd like Frank to just put this on
I
one
know,
last
Frank, you
time.
need to put it back
I
on.
suited it better,
It
didn't I?
did. I mean, it's like actually it does look like a Charlie and Chocolate Factory wig. It does. I can.
I even
picture
know
it.
how to put it on. I feel like one of the judges. I feel like a judge putting this on.
Aye.
Maybe here, Your Honour.
It reminds me of that joke when.
Oh,
when
here we go, another joke.
when
Right.
the kid said to the dad, "How come your hair's green?" And he went, "No idea."
I've heard that. That's good.
Aye, but you're looking good. He's looking lovely, Kirsty.
I know.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's the bow. It just sets it all
know,
I
off.
reckon what
I
we should
like
do, we should recreate the Willy Wonka experience
Yeah,
in here for the first anniversary.
Things that we could get more stuff in here than what was in that show.
You just need a.
special Willy
I've got a
Wonka
tablecloth thing there. You just need a candy
Yeah, we've
cane.
got everything here.
A Willy Wonka glass of water and a Willy Wonka running
Yes,
order.
Running order.
Jelly
that's it,
beans.
yeah.
Right.
Just one.
We're starting to go down a weird rabbit hole. So listen, we'll leave it there. Kirsty, thanks so much for
Thank
taking
you.
the
Oh,
time
thank
to
you
come
for
and join us.
having me on.
Thank you
been
very
great.
much.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
It's been good fun.
We're going
Yeah,
to
great chat to
follow
you.
your career very, very
Yes.
closely.
Oh, thank
And
you.
good luck with it.
Aye.
Really good luck with
Fingers
it.
All
crossed.
the very best. So, great. Well, listen, thanks again for joining us for the latest episode of Let Me Be Frank.
Don't forget,
We'll be back
subscribe.
next. Aye, of course.
Don't forget, press that button, subscribe.
It's free.
Aye.
It's free to subscribe. Hit the buttons. Do all that stuff. Subscribe. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all the other things. And we'll see you again soon.
Happy
for the
New
next
Year.
episode. Happy New Year.